OEP Medsupp play. What am I talking about? Undoubtedly, you're going to run into people. Either you wrote them, someone else you know wrote them, or somebody that you don't even know wrote them, like a call center. A Medicare Advantage plan took them off of original Medicare, put them on Medicare Advantage plan, and they're not going to want to be on it. It's going to happen. Okay? So, the OEP Medsupp play. There's a way to do it to try to get them back on a Medsupp. And for the purposes of this one, I'm going to be talking about somebody who is underwritable, if that's a word. Someone who is able to be underwritten. Okay? So, what you'd be doing is you'd be looking to make it effective 2/1/2021. If they came to you in February, it would be 3/1/2021. If they came to you in March, you could do 4/1/2021. After that, they're pretty much locked in. But because of OEP, you can get them off the Medicare Advantage plan in the first quarter and back on to a Medicare supplement. Now, obviously, you don't want to take them off the Medicare Advantage plan and not have any kind of cap on their overall out-of-pocket unless you can get the Medicare supplement approved. So the first thing you do is apply for the Medicare supplement while they're on the Medicare Advantage plan. A lot of people say you can't apply for Medicare supplement if they're on Medicare Advantage plan. You can when you have the intent that they're going to come off the Medicare Advantage plan if approved for the Medicare supplement. Okay, so you apply them for the Medicare supplement, say it's in January, or say it's even now in AEP. You'd be applying them for a 2/1, or in an outside AEP, but December 8th and on. We're going to apply them for 2/1 all the way up to January 31st. If I can get them approved for that 2/1, not even January 31st, that's an overstatement, at least up to like January 15th. 2/1, if I can get the Medicare supplement approved for 2/1 effective date, then I could go back and apply them for a Part D plan, whatever one's best for them, using the OEP election period. Now in the OEP election period, sometimes it'll show OEP new and OEP something else. Normally there's a guide on how to use which one. I'm not really going to talk about that, but you have this, because I don't know off the top of my head, to look at it again because it's been a year. But you use the OEP special election period or OEP election to do the Part D application, which would kick them off of the Medicare Advantage plan, put them back on original Medicare, and you've already got their Medicare supplement in effect. Okay, so that's the way to do it. But remember, don't go and use this Part D OEP to put them back on Medicare and kick them off the Medicare Advantage plan if they can't get a supplement, unless that's what they want. And if you're going to do that and leave somebody with no catastrophic coverage, I would recommend getting a letter, taking a letter, typing it up, saying that they understand that, and getting them to sign it to protect you from them having catastrophic potential out of pocket. Because, you know, we've done that for people when that's what they wanted, but you want to make sure that they understand the ramifications of it. So after about January 15th, January 16th, if it's Aetna that you're doing a supplement with, you might utilize that automated underwriting even closer to the February 1st date. But if you're not getting an automated approval date, you might want to go out another month on the effective date. But the latest you'll be able to do it is for April 1st changeover. So that's how you can use OEP to get somebody out of an Advantage plans they don't want. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and try to take people that we have on Advantage plans off, but there will be people that some billing staff person scared the crap out of them, and the first goal, would be to talk to them about, staying on it, especially if they're your client. But of course, if there's somebody else's client you don't know, you'd be like, sure, I can help you get on Medsupp, What we see is a lot of people, for instance, in this area are putting people on Humana. Several people, when I would get into their MyMedicare.gov account, they'd have talked to a call center and they'd be on a Humana or PPO, regional PPO, starting in January. And so there's call centers out there enrolling them in that. That's obviously not in this area going to be the best thing for them, with North Mississippi Medical Center and the Amory Hospital not taking that at all. So those people you could use to get them back on Medicare supplement. Now, you could also, use OEP to change them to another Medicare Advantage plan. So if they were on that one and the hospital's not taking it and whoever didn't check their doctors, you could say, well, let's see if your doctors are in the Aetna network or the United Healthcare network, and just do a lateral change. You have to change them to another matching MAPD. So in OEP, January 1st through March 31st, if they have a Humana Medicare Advantage plan with prescription drug coverage, you can change them to another Aetna Medicare Advantage plan with prescription drug coverage, or a United Healthcare Medicare Advantage plan with prescription drug coverage. If they are on a Humana or any other Medicare Advantage plan with no prescription drug coverage, you cannot change them to another one with prescription drug coverage. It has to be a matching plan, so one without prescription drug coverage if they're already on that one. It has to be a like plan in that way. LASSO, OEP is not going to work to change anybody off of LASSO. And I don't even think you can use, I've even tried, Stephen can help me remember, I don't even think we were able to use OEP to get them back to original Medicare off of LASSO. If they're on LASSO, they're on LASSO until AEP next year.
What about putting somebody on one?
You can't use OEP to put anybody on it. OEP is not AEP. So you're not going to be able to use OEP to take somebody from original Medicare and put them on Medicare Advantage, unless they qualify for a special enrollment period like having a low income subsidy. But OEP is not to take somebody who's stuck on an expensive supplement and put them on an Advantage plan. That's AEP. And this is not meant to be a second AEP. It's meant to be a correction period. So somebody that got screwed over and put in the wrong plan, they can change to a like plan, or they can elect to go back to regular Medicare.
But they can't go from an Advantage plan to a LASSO?
No.
Okay.
LASSO is an Advantage plan, but it's an MSA, and MSAs just right now, they don't fit into the OEP rules. If they're on LASSO, they got to stay on LASSO. If they're not on LASSO, they can't get LASSO. There's no special election for them to get LASSO other than if they were new to Medicare, retiring, that kind of stuff. Not for people who are already on Medicare. There's no election.
So how do you put them back on an original Medicare if they're just on an MA? So you can enroll them in a drug plan. How do you get them back?
If they're on MA only,
they never have a drug plan. I've had a few clients like that.
Yeah, you can use OEP to put them back on regular Medicare if they wanted to.
You just got to go do something.
You just enroll them, just like I was talking about here. You enroll them in a Part D plan using the OEP election during the first quarter.
But what if they don't have? What if they've never had one and they don't want a penalty?
Well, then they can just stay on their Medicare Advantage plan. Okay. I mean, they could probably fill out a disenrollment form using OEP, but I don't know. I don't think they can. Well, yes, okay. That's a more complicated question. There's two periods. There is the Medicare Advantage plan disenrollment period, which is January 1st to February 15th, right?
I don't know that still exists.
It doesn't exist. That's OEP now.
But OEP, does it allow them to just disenroll from a Medicare Advantage plan without making an election to a new plan?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So they could probably disenroll, but they'd have to if they're going to do that, they're probably going to have to call the company and disenroll.
So that's a unique situation. I don't know how to go about it. But
I wouldn't advise somebody to do that.
I wouldn't either.
So
odds are they don't have a.
You're not going to run into that situation.
most of the times, you're enrolling them in a drug plan.
You're talking about a hyper unique situation. Somebody that's on an MA only plan, they're probably not coming off of that. It's probably a veteran. It's a very unique situation. So I wouldn't worry with that one. But that's, a couple of things you can use OEP for. The big one that we've used it for in the past is getting somebody off a Medicare Advantage plan and back onto a Medsupp. But now there'll probably be more people on the wrong Medicare Advantage plan changing to another one due to doctor network issues, things like that. You cannot, again, like we talked about, I think yesterday, you can't market OEP. You can utilize OEP. You can educate on OEP, but you can't go run an ad for OEP leads. You can't put a TV commercial or a billboard saying it's OEP, time to make sure you got the right Advantage plan. That's not what it's for. It's made to use as a correction. So Apparently carriers can
Is it Rachel
market it,
Hamilton?
but agents and broker distribution right now can. So I don't know exactly how it works, but what you do is you just general Medicare market. Like, hey, we're Medicare agents, we can fix the mistakes that are out there. If you have any questions, call us year round. That's the same one we do, is we market Medicare Advantage all year. I want Medicare Advantage clients to call me in June, and I can say, or, hey, yeah, we can and then we get them on a prospect list to call them back in AEP. You market for those prospects all year long, and you build lists out. This is the same thing that, like I sent a lead to a guy the other day, and it was a Medsupp lead, and he called her, and she had already talked to somebody. The lead didn't get to him fast enough. She already talked to somebody she took out in the Aetna Medicare side. He said, man, I didn't get to her fast enough. He responded, she's already got Aetna, and it's definitely the best rate for her. I couldn't beat it. So I said, put it in your CRM as a prospect with Aetna,
What's that?
and then you can tag it or flag it or something to where, or put an activity in there for a year down the road to call and check on the rate. But you can also flag them as the policy in there is not yours, but it's Aetna. And then later on, when Aetna has a rate increase in that state, which they will, you can go and pull a list of all the people with Aetna and call them back and be like, I know Aetna's rate's been going up. I just wanted to call you back. I talked to you about a year ago, wanted to see if we could shop your rate. So you always keep that as a prospect. You're prospecting all year long. It doesn't matter if you can write them all year long. We built out those big Medicare Advantage lists, throughout the year. Which we built some seminars out of and wrote some applications. Gave y'all some of those leads over time. So there's you're always prospecting and you're building the prospect list. And the bigger the prospect list gets, so you need to have some sort of CRM to manage that. It helps tremendously to be able to pull it. But if nothing else, do a Google Sheets spreadsheet or an Excel spreadsheet, something. So anyway, you can't market OEP. That doesn't mean you can't market during OEP. Some people take that to the extreme, they can't even market Medicare during OEP. That's not what that's meant. It just means you can't market it like another AEP. You can't go on, it's time to shop your drug, it's not time to shop your Advantage plan. It's time for me to see if, I can be your agent, and then if I can be your agent and then find out that OEP is gonna help you because your doctor's not in your network or whatever, then I can utilize that period for that purpose.